increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Right, meow.
That banning alcohol didn't stop people from living it up in the 1920s.
When we're 5 years into Prohibition, the government
Yes, sir.
to go, okay, this isn't working.
I'm Ed Helms, and on season 3 of Snafu, we're taking you back to the 1920s and the tale of Formula 6. What you probably don't know about Prohibition is that American citizens were dying due to poisoned liquor, and all along, an unlikely duo was trying desperately to stop the corruption behind it. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Snafu, and listen now.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
From the Ingalls studio,
WPEK Fairview,
WMXF Waynesville,
W225CJ Candler,
the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good. Live from the Ingalls studio,
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
the Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog eat! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! My golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God, the Jets killed him.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy coming to you live from the Ingalls studio. We're heard everywhere you go around the world on the iHeartRadio app. Seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and that way you can join us in the chats. I am live from the Ingalls studio. He is live from the NFL Draft.net Mullet Manor. A happy day to you, Flostradamus.
We call it the Draft Dome. A lot of people have domes. Some of them Thunder Domes. Mine's a Draft Dome.
He's got the Draft Dome all set up and ready to go today on the program. We will have a couple more top 13s for you from at ESPN Draft Nerd. The top 13 edge rushers in the 2025 NFL Draft class, as well as the defensive tackles following the lying season, the pre-draft headlines. I don't think there was much of a lie yesterday after Cam Ward apparently telling Mike Borgonzi that he's his guy at the U's Pro Day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you saw that story, Jeremy.
I did, and it gave me just a tick of the angina. I don't like when prospects say you should see everything at my workout to tell you that I'm going to be the #1 pick. If I'm questioning whether you're the #1 pick going into this, you're not. You might be the name that we say on April 24th. You probably shouldn't be. Cam Ward, and now I do have to say this. We gave Xavier Restrepo a heads up. So he started his 40 when the show started, and we're hoping that he's done by the first commercial break.
Aww.
You can be a little feller. You can run a 4.85. You cannot be a little feller and run a 4.85.
He ran a 4.85?
4.85 to 4.79. That was the hand time to the mechanical.
Woof.
Yeah, he went from, hey, you could be a late third, early fourth round pick to you should probably get your insurance license.
What did he run at the combine?
He didn't.
He didn't run at the combine.
No. And I think now I understand
why.
why.
For that.
I always laugh when a guy doesn't run at the combine. Then he runs at his pro day and he's just slow as molasses. And I'm like, hey, do you think we didn't know that you were going to do that? I mean, we've talked about it for a month. I just did a show with Chad Parsons where we talked about Xavier Restrepo is not going to run all that fast. I do love when something's recorded and then it goes out the day something happens. And I said exactly what was going to happen.
So he runs a 4.840, and I mean, the kid's still got good hands. We saw that on display at Miami.
Well, the only problem is that I could cover him with Shemar Stewart, and I would be just fine. Sorry, you ran 0.2 of a second slower than a guy that's my size. I'm good. I'll let somebody else do that.
Right. All right, so where does he fall now?
Restrepo?
Yeah, what round is he going to go in now?
I'll bet you anything you want. It starts with a S. It's either 6, 7, or non-applicable.
Or not at all.
Look, you can't be that slow. Sorry, it just doesn't work. And Notorious B.I.G. said, I told y'all about Restrepo. He can't separate. I saw it at the Senior Bowl. I kept watching him run routes going, my God, it feels like it takes you forever to get out of a break. And every one of those corners was like lightly jogging with him.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice yesterday when we did receivers that Restrepo's name was the one that I went, oh, no, don't say that, because that doesn't belong there.
Yes. Yeah. I did. I kept waiting. I was like, wait a minute. The list that I have here does not say Xavier Restrepo on it.
Yes, and it was not intended to. His name got lost in translation, and I forgot to move it.
All right, so I'm looking at a list here of 4 guys in, I guess, the history of the Combine, or at least as far as we have tracked the outcomes at the Combine. 4 wide receivers have ever ran 4.8 or worse at the Combine. It's not going to surprise you that you've never heard of any of these guys.
I bet I have.
Tavares Martin.
No, that one's – I don't remember that one.
Devontrez Dukes. Wendell Montgomery. And Derunya Wilson. He did not run you very fast.
No.
He actually has the record for the slowest 40 time by a wide receiver at the Combine. In 2016, he ran a 4.85.
Which is what Restrepo ran yesterday.
Yes.
Depending on which clock you believe.
The point here that anybody who runs a 4.8, you're probably not gonna hear from you very much.
I'll put it to this way: I am a big man. I have run a 4.8. It was a long time ago, and I can't do it now, but I did.
Yeah, that was quite a bit ago. Ouch. So Xavier Restrepo didn't do well at the pro day, but his quarterback did. Or at least he thought he did.
Stop.
Cam Ward, that takes some stones, man.
No, he's been doing it the whole time. He's been doing it the whole time. I'm clearly the best prospect in this class. No, you're not. Not to anybody with an IQ above salad dressing, you're not. You're the best quarterback in a bad quarterback class. But, I mean, I got news for you. If you watch Cam Ward and you see a no-doubt franchise quarterback, you're seeing something that I don't. I see no doubt the highest upside of any quarterback in this class.
Yep.
I see a handful of teams that are absolutely desperate to have a quarterback. But I'm going to tell you, I've heard over and over and over and over again, don't be so sure a quarterback goes 1. If Tennessee gets stuck here, which is the term that I keep hearing, is that all the teams, Tennessee has been frantically trying to trade down for a month. ESPN just did a poll of 13 insiders. 11 of them said they thought Tennessee ultimately trades down.
Mm-hmm.
That should tell you everything you need to know. If I'm dead set and this is no doubt a franchise quarterback and just let the good times roll, I ain't looking to trade down. If Arch Manning, who just had his first practice at Texas as QB1, if he does everything that he's projected to do this year, hey, guess what's not going to happen? The team at 1's looking frantically to trade down. Unless something goes really bad for a team that I'm not expecting.
Mm-hmm. Unless you ended up with, like, I don't know, somebody getting hurt, right? Loses their quarterback for the season. Like a New England. Like if Drake May, God forbid, got hurt and they didn't have him and they were the worst team in the league next year.
Did his leg get amputated?
No, I'm saying, and he didn't play this year, and they ended up with the number 1 pick.
Oh yeah, then that could happen.
They'd skip Arch, right? They would skip Arch.
Oh, they would skip him. They would trade down for an amount of picks that would shock and awe you.
Right. I'm just saying they wouldn't end up with Archie Manning. They would more than likely get some draft capital back and move down in that draft for somebody else who's going to pay a big price. Cam's not worth that. Shadour's not worth that. But I do like the confidence. I like the confidence of a kid that feels like he's the number one pick.
I don't. This is one of those times.
He's like, I don't.
Yeah, I don't. This is one of those times. Hey, you know what? I said this to somebody on our YouTube chat or in our YouTube comments last night. You know, it is socially acceptable to just not talk. You're allowed. I don't know if you knew that or not. You do not have to comment on everything you come across. So telling me that you're, and by the way, this is a PSA for anybody that comments on our YouTube. Just understand, I'm the one that answers those. So if your comment is, man, I'm glad you're not the GM of my team, you probably should not be a fan of the Miami Dolphins. Just throwing that out there. You know, the same great GM team that brought you Cam Smith and Noah Igbignogany. I'm just throwing it out there. It's okay to just scroll on by.
So you'd rather Cam be honest and tell everybody that he's not the number one pick?
No, the hubris is not doing you any favors. Look, we all know you're a flawed prospect. You know you're a flawed prospect. That's why you started at Incarnate Word. That's why when you left Incarnate Word, your biggest offer was Washington State. Hey, you want to be big man? Let's talk about where you would have gone in last year's draft. You want to be big man? Let's talk about where you'd go in next year's draft. It's one of those things that it rubs me the wrong way. I like confident. I don't like cocky. I can't name you one cocky quarterback that's ever been really, really good. I can tell you a slew of them that have been nowhere near as good as you think they were. One of them now quarterbacks my team. Justin Fields was cocky. You know who's not cocky? Josh Allen's not cocky. And he has a lot of reason to be. You seen his girlfriend lately? That dude's got a lot of reason to chirp.
Is he still dating that Haley Steinfeld girl?
Engaged to her. And had quite possibly my favorite line that anybody's ever said about their spouse. When he signed that big deal with Buffalo, they asked, hey, would you think you're going to have to upgrade her ring? And he said, I think she's pretty happy with the rock on her hand. And I just went, good for Josh Allen. You're my new favorite guy ever.
So the Tennessee Titans have that big question to ask at the top of the draft. Do we reach for the quarterback with the number one pick, or do we take the best prospect on the board?
Well, I mean, for me, it's not really
Abdul Carter.
Mm-hmm. For me, it's not really much of a question. Unfortunately for Tennessee, I think it's very much a question.
Absolutely, it is. When you're at the top of the draft, you have to ask the question, should we kick the tires on this quarterback? It has to be addressed because you don't have a solution right now. Will Levis, absolute disaster. Who's your backup? Mason Rudolph?
No, Mason Rudolph's in Pittsburgh. Backup? He re-signed in Pittsburgh.
Whoever they have.
Well, here's the problem. All right, but you're doing that thing that NFL teams do of it's in a vacuum. All right, I went back through the last 20 years. At every time a team has reached for a quarterback in the top 20, and I use 20 because the most recent one, well, not the most recent, but pretty close to the most recent. I'm not evaluating the past two classes. We're still too young into that. Although I will say, I feel like I can look at Anthony Richardson right now and go, hey, that one's going to be one in a year. When we get to 3 and I can legally start talking smack about you, that's going to be one. You go back to the year before that. Kenny Pickett, was he a reach at 20?
Absolutely.
Absolute disaster.
Mm-hmm.
None of the quarterbacks in 20 were reaches. Kyler Murray was a reach at 1 in 2019. That's been fine. I'm not jumping up and down about it now 7 years in, but I'm not going to rail on you either. Daniel Jones, reach, disaster. Dwayne Haskins, reach, disaster. Mitch Trubisky, reach, disaster. I can do this for a really long time. I cannot name you a tangible time that I have ever looked at a team reach for a quarterback that has worked out the way you wanted it to. I will also comprehensively tell you, I think I know every draft analyst in the country that doesn't do this out of their mom's basement. I don't know a soul that has Cam Ward in the top 10. Even the guys that are drunk and love on him, he's still in the early teens. You do it. You can do it. Just don't be shocked when all of you are looking for jobs 3 years from now.
It's the never-ending cycle of bad franchises making bad decisions.
I don't think the Titans are a bad franchise. That's one of the things that I've been stuck on. I don't think this is a bad franchise. I definitively know the New York Giants are going to reach for a quarterback. They may be able to trade down, but they're still going to reach on Shedeur Sanders, who, oh, by the way, I barely have in the top 100. That's a bad franchise. If Cam Ward gets to 2, the Cleveland Browns will do it. That's a bad franchise. The New York Jets, if one of these guys fell to them at 7, that's a bad franchise. You know who I'm not worried about doing that? And I have literally zero doubt. And you're not going to like what I'm getting ready to say, but I have zero doubt. The Las Vegas Raiders. Everybody talks about how clueless of a franchise that is, and they've been bad, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, now you got Tom Brady as the owner. Tom Brady's a pretty smart guy. John Spytek just came from a really winning organization with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do I think they're great? No, but they're the class of their division.
Right.
Everybody talks about Ashton Genty being penciled in at 6. Let me tell you a fun story about that penciling Ashton Genty in at 6. I was in a group thread this morning with, there's probably 15 or 20 guys in there. Without a shadow of doubt, I am the least famous person in that group thread. You know what we couldn't stop talking about? Ashton Genty at 6 doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it?
No.
You shoehorn him in there, and you can talk it through. But then you get to this problem of like facts and get away from opinions that the Raiders really need a running back. This is the deepest running back class I've ever seen. It's fantastic. John Spytek comes from an organization that drafted Bucky Irving in the 4th round. They took Rashad White in the 3rd. They got Leonard Fournette off a trash heap. You're telling me that team's going to take a running back at 6? That, by the way, is not that much better than the 2nd running back you can get in this class. Doesn't make any sense. Tennessee is at a crux. We're going to judge your franchise for the next 10 years based off what you do here at 1. And I cannot wrap my brain around the fact that it's going to be Cam Ward.
I get there. So there are different dudes making the call now. I get it. But the recent draft history of this team doesn't make you feel all warm and fuzzy, does it? First-round picks for this organization have not gone all that well.
Well, this is a new GM.
I get it.
Mike Morganzi's a new GM. And this is your first shot. This is your first bite at the apple. And it's the one you're going to be remembered for forever. And I got a quarterback that's having to come over and tell me, see, look at the throw I just made. I just tell you, I can be the pick at 1. Okay, hey, let's talk about the throw at the end of that Syracuse game. Can we talk about that? Because I'm way more interested in that. Let's talk about the fact that you fell apart like an IKEA table the last month of the season with a team that should have walked into the playoff.
Right.
Let's talk about that. Oh, you don't want to talk about that, do you? In our YouTube chat, Alex S. said, hot take, Mahomes was a reach and a project at 12, can't name another. You know who believes that? The media. You know who never believed that? Scouts. I've said this for years, and I don't just think this is true. I know it's true. The New York Jets were drunk on Pat Mahomes. They loved him. They were afraid they would break him. Everybody was afraid they were going to get fired, and they couldn't take him at 6. So they took Jamal Adams, and they've regretted it ever since. Scouts loved Pat Mahomes because his arm was, we'll say, intriguing. But Kansas City was able to be patient. Meanwhile, we have these other teams, the Jets and the Browns and the Jaguars and all of these bad teams that you see picking in the top 10 just year in and year out. You're like a dog chasing cars. You wouldn't know what to do with it if you caught it. Mm-hmm. But damn it, I can't stop looking at that metal hubcap going, I just want to bite it. Mm-hmm. Doesn't end so well for Snickerdoodle.
Mm-hmm. Will Levis, Malik Willis, Jake Locker. How many times has the Tennessee Titans tried to nail down this position? Marcus Mariota. You've tried to do it through the draft so many times, and it's never worked. Hopefully that's a reason for the brain trust to go, maybe we shouldn't do that this time. Maybe we shouldn't just try to go best quarterback at number one and hope and pray that it works out.
Here's my problem. At least the way I would talk about it in the room.
That they will.
The way I would talk about it in the room, and this is what I've always said with quarterbacks. Are we putting a young quarterback in a position to succeed? Look at your offensive line. Look at your running game. Look at your wide receivers. Look at your play caller. Is there a possibility that play caller gets fired in a year? That's not a spot to put a young quarterback. Because now you're looking at second, third play caller in 3 years, and those are the guys that break. And Alex S., don't feel bad about that Pat Mahomes thing. I get into that argument with media people all the time. Every time I talk about taking a shot on a quarterback, that wasn't the shot everybody thinks it was. Because people in the media did not know who Pat Mahomes was. That's one of the reasons that I'm so absolutely against the idea of putting things out there about Mike Greene and James Pearce and Caleb Johnson and all these other guys. There are some guys, the personality red flags, they're confirmed. I've seen it. I know it. Malachi Moore, not a guy I want dating my daughter. The other three, I met all three of them. They were fine. I interviewed one of them, and I thought he was incredibly engaging, and I thought he was incredibly respectful. Yes, that was a 10-minute interview that was scripted by his agency. I get it. But this is the problem that I see with teams in the NFL draft, is that you know it's not the right thing to do. Last night, I convinced my lovely wife to have McDonald's. That's what we had for dinner last night. And it was awesome. By the way, Whataburger spicy ketchup on a double quarter pounder. How blow your mind. Just the greatest thing you'll ever put in your mouth. Her and McDonald's do not agree with each other. You know that going in. But love, she wanted me to be happy, and I appreciate that. But she didn't get angry that that didn't go exactly how I wanted it to. It upset my tummy, and I had to have a couple Tums because it gave me heartburn. I knew that going in. That's the same way I look at Tennessee with Cam Ward. You know the right answer to this. You know the right answer to this is either Abdul Carter, which would be my answer, or trade out. And if you take Cam Ward, and 2 years from now, you got a little rumble tums, and you got to get the Rolaids out, I don't want to hear it.
You just keep doing it to yourself over and over and over again.
Jake Locker, we all knew it. Mm-hmm. You could literally watch the tape on Jake Locker and go, there's nothing here that says he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. But what if he is? That's like looking at your cat and going, well, what if it learns to bark? It could be a dog. But it's not going to.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. We'll be right back.
At Tractor Supply, we know that a winning
clear
out here takes practice, teamwork, and a can-do attitude.
No, you're good.
It's great to have a neighbor like Tractor Supply. No matter the season, our team members are here to help. Like you, they know that nothing beats the feeling of seeing all your hard work pay off. Whether you're caring for pets, chickens, or a few acres, we have everything you need to get the most out of life out here. Season after season, Tractor Supply. For life, out here.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Bring spring to your door with Target Circle 360. Get all you need for Easter hosting, spring get-togethers, and more with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. From Easter basket goodies to fresh florals, getting everything the same day is easy. Open the Target app and bring the magic of the season to your door with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. Visit target.com/circle or the Target app for more details. Subscription required. Same-day delivery is subject to terms. Applies to orders over $35.
Pluto TV has all the shows and movies you love streaming for free. That means laughter is free with gut-busting comedies like The Neighborhood, Boomerang, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller. Mystery is free with countless cases to crack from Criminal Minds, Tracker, and Matlock.
I'm a lawyer, like the old TV show.
And thrills are free with heart-pumping hits like The Walking Dead and Pulp Fiction.
Correctamundo.
Feel the free Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
Looking to buy or sell in Western North Carolina? At Clarissa Sells WNC, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County, selling over 100 homes in 2024. We represent both buyers and sellers, and with a personalized approach to meet your needs.
At Clarissa Sells WNC, real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. Call me today, Clarissa Marshall, at 828-774-6343. When it comes to real estate, we're here for what matters most, you.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks Community heroes. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the areas that were hardest hit in those first hours. Like Spencer, who helped build a bridge out of debris to rescue 7 families after the road was washed away. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
It's the moment you dream of, the moment you work for, train for, run wind sprints when nobody's watching for, the moment when hours of gym time, court time, prep time, all culminate into this time. The moment when millions of bounces, blocks, and boards all add up to this, your moment. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cot?
It is ESPN Asheville and the Tennessee Titans with the big decision to make at #1 at the top of the 2025 NFL Draft. We'll have a couple of more top 13 position breakdowns coming for you from at ESPN Draft Nerd here later on in the program. We'll talk edge rushers and defensive tackles.
There's a lot of both. This is a good year to need both of those things. If you need a linebacker, well, in the words of the great Ed Helms in The Hangover, well, you're out of luck.
Screwed. Okay.
If you need a linebacker, you are doomed.
Right.
I've noticed that I think I've drafted Demetrius Knight to like 8 teams in these 4-round mocks that I'm doing with PFF Simulator. I keep saying his name going, every one of you can't draft him. Like, it's not physically possible. He can only play for one team.
He's the only one available.
Well, it's such a bad position group because you got so many guys that are super unathletic. Or you get Chris Paul that I'm still not sure how he puts his pants on. Like, I think he has to get on the bed and hop on like a baby and put his feet on and then just kind of pull on the waistband, like with his feet up in the air, because he has little tiny 29-inch T-Rex arms.
Right. We'll go over the top 13s of the defensive tackles and the edge rushers coming up here on the program. When we come back from the break, it will be time to get just a bit outside. And Jeremy, there may be a brand new tourist attraction coming to the state of North Carolina soon. Just
is it something that you're intrigued by?
100%.
I already hate this, and I don't even know what it is.
So excited.
Before we take this break, we do have a couple super chats to get to.
All right.
We've done a bad job of getting to those.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
The first one is from Sir Jimothy, who's just supporting us because that's what he does, because he's a good American. We also owe him an extra shout out because he sent one of those in on Friday, and we said it, but I had not hit the button on YouTube, so nobody on YouTube could hear it. That's the problem with taking all the sources off all the screens. Yes, people can't hear the things that we say in the break, but if you forget to hit the button, they can't hear anything we say. So, oopsie poopsie.
All right, we got another one from Red Sea.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Red Sea said, good year to need an edge or a defensive tackle. Enter the Arizona Cardinals. And that leads me, I want to take his super chat and answer another question that was asked from Stephen B. Said, why is it a good year to need a deep position? That means other teams are getting good players too. It's not about what happens with other teams. You got to remember the draft is in a vacuum. I can't control what you add. I'm only on the clock between 5 and 12 times in a draft. I'm looking at what I'm adding. Now, needing a deep position, I'll use what Red Sea said there. So I think they still need an edge rusher. I know they still need a nose tackle, and I would like a 5-tech. I don't have to take one of those guys at 16. So what happens from 1 to 15, I can just sit there and let it fall in my lap. If Will Johnson falls to them at 16, I'm all the way in. Is corner their biggest need? No. Is Will Johnson the best player that'll be on that board at 16? Absolutely. In a certain scenario. That's why it's good to need a deep position. The problem is if you need a linebacker, per se. The most confident player that no one's talking about in the first round that I have is Demetrius Knight. Because there's so many teams that need linebackers, and there's so few of them. Look, I like Cody Simon. I like Jack Kaiser. I'm not wild about Barrett Carter, but that's because I don't like two-down linebackers. I understand they play a role. I just don't want to draft him where I know he's going to end up going. If I have to come out of the draft with a linebacker, then Demetrius Knight all of a sudden goes from, I have him in the late 20s. He might be 15 on my board because I have to come away with a linebacker. And there are a few positions that are that way. Quarterback. Well, we were talking about to start the show. Tennessee's looking at, well, we need a quarterback. Awesome. At 35, when we pick a second time, it's Tyler Shuck or nothing. Or we try to roll out Jalen Milroe and see what an absolute disaster that can be. That's the context of why it is good to have a need at a deep position.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. We'll be right back.
This is your Exergen Temporal
Clear
cast on ESPN Asheville.
All right, could use some rainfall. Certainly not getting any, not only for any of the wildfires or brush fires burning, but for the pollen count. That's going up too. Sunshine, maybe a few clouds, and a stiff breeze this afternoon, mild, 70. Tonight, a few clouds will fall back into the upper 30s and a little breezy, so might be a little brisk early Wednesday. Sun a little cooler with that stiff northwest breeze in the afternoon, still 60 degrees. Thursday, sunshine, mid-60s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. If you have a spicy side, Taco Bell now has a menu to match. Taco Bell's new caliente sauce made with red jalapenos is the spicy side of Cantina chicken. Try it today, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only, while supplies last. Contact store for availability.
Shop Mattress Firm's Upgrade Your Sleep sale. See a sleep expert and get matched with your perfect bed so you sleep better at night. You'll even get 120 nights to love it or your money back. Restrictions apply.
Listeners are always asking about QC Kinetics treatments. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. If you're wondering if you are a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Trouble sleeping, walking day-to-day movement. Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? And most importantly, do you miss doing things you love because joint pain is holding you back? Walking, golfing, jogging? If you answered yes to any of those, I'd bet you're a great candidate. So please don't wait. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Call 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off, plus save an additional $100 on every $1,000 you spend on select major appliances. Valid through 3/28. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details on qualifying items.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, we found out a lot of things about our community. We saw neighbors helping neighbors, and we learned in desperate times one of the best things to have around is a redneck with a chainsaw.
Not just a chainsaw, boy, just country boys in general. When you live in these mountains, you figure it out. Like, you make stuff happen.
After answering the calls for help that they heard on the radio, the Chainsaw Brothers are still here, making it happen the right way. Fair, insured, and local. Need tree help? Call the Chainsaw Brothers. 316-1013. 316-1013. Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville is back. Join us on the 29th at Bear's on the South Slope for a lighthearted rage-releasing benefit party appropriately named To Hell with Helene. We'll exercise some demons together. A little axe throwing, a pie eating contest, mechanical bull rides. There'll be live music and, of course, great barbecue. Proceeds from the party will support Linked for Life, a mental health initiative. Say To Hell with Helene with us at Bear's Smokehouse grand reopening downtown March 29th.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
It is ESPN Asheville. The Sportsocracy is back live at the Ingles studio and from the NFL Draft.net Mullet Manor. And Jeremy, as I said before we went to the last break, there is a thought, there is a proposal, I guess, of a new tourist attraction in the state of North Carolina. And I don't think this state has ever needed anything more.
We're going to treat all you women, the way women ought to be treated.
There is a bill in the state legislature right now called the Ric Flair Act. And the Ric Flair Act, session Senate Bill 404, if you'd like to track its progress, has been introduced. They're asking, the sponsors of the bill are asking $500,000 in state taxpayer money to assess the possibility of a pro wrestling Hall of Fame for the state. And I think we absolutely need one. I don't think I've liked a proposal for any other type of tourist attraction in this state more. Because I think it makes more sense here than it would practically anywhere else in America.
Man, you would have a lot of shirts tucked into sweatpants at the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame.
That's
You'd
right.
get a lot of comic book T-shirts at the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Get a lot of guys whose diet consists of whatever mom cooked and Hot Pockets at the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. You know what you wouldn't get? You know what you wouldn't get at the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame? A lot of women.
What is that?
You would not get a lot of women.
Nah. I don't know about that. Women like wrestling too.
At a much smaller rate.
Oh, sure. It's by far men outweigh the women as far as wrestling fandom goes. The biggest kicker to the story about a possible pro wrestling Hall of Fame in the state, though, is that the actual bill filed, which was sponsored by our very own Ralph Heiss from right here in western North Carolina. He's over in McDowell County, I believe, is his main base of operations. A bill to be entitled An Act to Remember Iconic Combatants Through Fostering Learning, Awareness, and Interest in Wrestling.
Too many words.
RASSLING.
Too many words.
Did we have to misspell wrestling in the bill description? Please, I mean,
that's not misspelling it. That's not misspelling the word, because there's wrestling, which is that thing that happened to Gable Stevenson over the weekend, and then there's wrestling, which is what we will be doing in Las Vegas at WrestleMania. That's wrestling.
I think we need this. I think professional wrestling needs a Hall of Fame. Somewhere where the fan can go for a one-of-a-kind experience. Where else to get that but right here in the hotbed of, NWA, WCW territory. The WWE Hall of Fame exists, but not in an actual building. There's nowhere that you can go to visit that.
Which I think is stupid. We have a Hall of Fame induction, and what are we inducting them into? The ether? We're inducting them into the internet?
We're putting them on the website. That's essentially it. There's the International Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame that's up in Albany, New York. It's a pretty brand new thing. It's only been around for like 4 years. And then there's another one that is down in Texas somewhere, and I think it went defunct during the pandemic. The last class I could find for them was 2021.
All right,
I don't think it exists anymore.
I have a question.
Yes.
And I'm not going to put pressure on you here, but your answer will determine whether I make fun of you or not for the next 16 minutes.
Okay.
All right. We treat the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame like we treat the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You get 5 in a class. Your first ballot Pro Wrestling Hall of Famers are who?
Ric Flair.
That's obvious.
Andre the Giant.
That is less obvious.
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan was pretty obvious.
I would probably go Shawn Michaels and Macho Man Randy Savage.
I did not expect you to say Shawn Michaels.
That was my inaugural class.
I would probably agree with you on 3 of those. Bret Hart's not in the first 5. Bret Hart was the most boring human in the history of creation. I don't agree with Andre, and I don't agree with Macho.
Okay.
I disagree much more on Macho than I do on Andre. You could convince me, Andre. He had a lot of crossover appeal.
He owned wrestling.
He did, but
every organization bowed to Andre because he was the biggest draw in the history of wrestling.
But he was the biggest draw because he was the biggest draw. Andre the Giant beat big really well. David L. said Vince McMahon, and I'll be honest with you, that was the one that I was pushing back that you didn't say. I get it. It didn't end well. I'm well aware of that. But
which takes him off the list.
It doesn't, though. That's stupid baseball nonsense. None of it would be talked about if it wasn't for him, which means he should be on it.
Nope, I'm leaving him off. He's not making my ballot. That's one of those. If I had a vote, I'm never voting for Vince McMahon.
Which is why you would never have a vote, because that's baseball nonsense, and it's why we don't care about baseball. Sorry, when your Hall of Fame doesn't talk about the best 20 years you ever had, that kind of invalidates your Hall of Fame. The Undertaker was another one that was really high on my list because that was just a great. That was the greatest shtick of all time. I feel like The Rock and Stone Cold would have to go in
there
together.
Yes. See, the next class to me would be like basically Attitude Era. It'd be Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker,
Triple H.
I'd probably put Bret Hart in that class.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, that's not
Stop.
That's
you
not
don't put Bret Hart in over Triple H. I'll fight you like a grown man right here over childish things. You are smoking recreational crimes.
Not actively.
No, I mean, not right now.
Not
Maybe
at the
moment. Andreas Pinckney said Dusty Rhodes. Hard times, Daddy.
Yeah. He'd eventually make the list.
Dusty would have to be in. See, I feel like we'd have to have like a 25-man class to start because there's too many.
Yeah, you could. The one that I mentioned earlier, the International Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame that's only had like 4 classes. Every class that they've had have been like 20 guys. Their original class was Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Bruno Sammartino, Lou Thesz, Terry Funk was on that list. A whole bunch of dudes that, traveled with, the Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus in 1925.
Stephen B is just throwing out every god-awful, terrible gimmick ever. He's thrown out the gobbledygooker, Gorgeous George and the Shockmaster.
Yes. They would have their own, like, bad gimmicks would have their own wing.
For sure.
Of the Tank Spencer, North Carolina Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame. We would have to have that. We would have to have, like, Kevin Nash out there. Oh, what was his name when he was like first in WCW? No, this was before Vinny Vegas. This
there was the Wizard of Oz.
He had like a red lightning bolt carved into the side of his head. I don't remember what his name was, but it was that guy ended up being world champion. We didn't see that coming apparently when he first joined up. You'd have like the Disco Inferno and Norman Smiley. He would be in that as well.
Flash Funk.
Yeah, Flash Funk.
Alex Wright, when they called him Das Wunderkind, and he just danced annoyingly. The Ringmaster with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I could do this for way longer than I should.
Sure. You've had a lot of bad ones. I mean, the fact that the WWE doesn't have a freestanding like brick and mortar Hall of Fame, I feel like is a disservice. They should build that at some point. But why not? Why not the state of North Carolina? To get into this business, to find somebody to put one. You imagine how big that would be next to the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte. You put it right there on Trade Street downtown, like across the way. I feel like there's like open property over there somewhere. That'd be huge. You put it next to the racetrack out in Concord. You would do massive business, especially on race weekend.
I'm putting this out on our social media. First ballot pro wrestling Hall of Famers should be who? Because Ches Johnson just said Sting, and now I'm mad that it took this long for us to say that.
He's also up there.
I'm angry that we didn't say that earlier. Tank and I, if we ever start a podcast, it will just be us talking about pro wrestling for 25 minutes a week. And it would be the worst podcast ever because we're not talking about anything that's happening right now. We're only talking about things that happened when we were 8.
Yes. We should do that. We should do like the Wrestling Rewind podcast.
I said it in the hopes that you would say just
like
that.
An episode. We pick like an episode of some wrestling organization to watch on Peacock or something. That's this week's breakdown of ECW from 1996.
Tank, we've been doing this a long time.
Next week we'll be doing Fall Brawl.
Tank, we've been doing this a long time, and I will definitively say that is the best idea you have ever had. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. And we started WrestleMania weekend as the preview to the start of WrestleMania, and we just go through old WrestleManias.
Oh, that could be fun.
I'm signing up for it now. And that's in the middle of the draft. I should not be looking for new things to do right now. I'm so down.
I mean, WrestleMania weekend, that's this weekend.
No, it's next weekend. We were off.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we could totally do that.
April 19th is WrestleMania weekend.
I thought it was April 6th. That can't be right.
3 weeks away? Holy cow.
That can't be right.
Yeah. April 19th and 20th, live from Las Vegas.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
So
Andres Pinkney said, "You've sold me. I need this podcast." I swear to you, this is not just us ranting. I am so in for this that it is ridiculous. And we bring back that 64-man bracket that we had to actually pay that off 2 years later.
It's still back here somewhere.
Oh, we're so doing this.
There it is.
Oh, we're so doing this. We just sounded this out. We did not plan this. We did not talk about this. It is happening.
There you go. I'm going to hold that up so y'all can see.
That's so happening. Doing it. I don't care that I just added like 40 new hours of work for me during draft prep. I don't even care.
It's not going to be that much.
Putting in work with Bill Workman said the week before the draft, Jeremy adds more to his plate. # built different. Yeah. I don't like to sleep. I'm not good at it.
We start out with WrestleMania 10, the greatest match of all time.
Oh,
It was the ladder. It was the ladder match. Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels. It's like one of my all-time favorite matches.
Oh my God, this is actually Tank. I mean this with all of the love and affinity that I can. This is one time that the two of us going head to head. There is no advantage. Because pro wrestling, we will fight to the death on all of this. And both of us will have good points.
Especially if, people keep trying to throw Goldberg into the Hall of Fame.
Stop that. I'm choosing to not see that was said.
Banned.
I'm choosing to, I chose for the betterment of my own mind brain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, we're doing this. Now we got to come up with a name.
Division in the Hall of Fame as well.
Now we got to come up with a name for the podcast.
I'm excited.
I swear to God, I'm ordering you a microphone for your house, and we are doing this. And if you tell me, I don't have enough time, I'm going to come to your house, and I'm going to stone cold stun you on your deck.
Wrestling Rewind. You know I love alliteration.
Yeah, there's another one there that... and the logo's the NWO logo. Whatever it is, it's 3 words, and it's the NWO logo. That's how you do it.
I like it. All right, do you have a outside story?
I do, but I don't care anymore.
I don't care.
Actually, yes, I do.
I don't care anymore.
Actually, yes, I do, because I want to make fun of Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is one of the great losers of all time. And he just solidified his spot on that list talking to Mark Spears. I'm going to read you a quote. And I'm not going to lie to you, when I saw this, I actively thought it was a parody because I didn't believe anybody could say this out loud. He was asked about his record in the playoffs. And he said, "No one tells a real story, and I'm fine with that. It's unfair in some ways. I don't get enough credit for getting the 3 wins. I get credit for losing. I always say, what if we had lost to Houston in 6? No one cares. One of the things that I'm proud of is that we've never been swept. All the coaches have been swept in the playoffs. My teams achieve. A lot of them overachieve, and I'm very proud of that." So let me paraphrase what he's saying here. I'm one of the greatest losers of all time. But I want credit for being a closer loser than many of the other losers. You run that back one more time? He then ended it with, "It is what it is. It's part of my legacy. There's nothing I can do about it." Or as he would have said it, "It is what it is. It's part of my legacy. Nothing I can do about it. It's like my larynx. I could have gotten it fixed years ago, but I don't. Right. It's just me." I am dumbfounded that anybody could say that out loud.
It is what it is.
I am dumbfounded that anybody could physically. That'd be like Marv Levy arguing that he's one of the greatest coaches of all time because he lost in 4 Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you're not, though. I mean, you're up there.
At some point. Mm-hmm. At some point, you have to embrace it. At some point, you have to embrace your failure and just come to grips with what it is. And I'll give him credit for that. You know me, I've never been the Doc Rivers is the greatest coach in the NBA guy. I've always had a problem with people putting him in that elite territory, despite the fact that he can't get it done in the playoffs. And the one time he did get it done in the playoffs, he had to have one of the greatest rosters ever assembled. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM at 1400. Got more NFL draft coverage coming up next.
Ever wake up feeling lousy, knowing something is off with your body?
And we're clear.
You need
now
Viome.
I just want a name
Forget
for
all
this
the generic
podcast.
health fads. Viome doesn't tell you what
I don't
you
care
want to
about
hear. It tells
anything.
you what's
Frankly, we
actually
can talk
going
about
on
this for the
inside
next
your
2 hours.
body.
I don't even care about the draft anymore. I don't even want to go. I just want to do this all day, every day for the next 2
your
months.
DNA. It's science, not nonsense. Want energy? Want better digestion?
I mean, I feel like a lot of people would
Stop
really
trusting
be upset
amateurs.
by
Go
that.
to Viome.com for a personalized gut professional. Now, call Star Gut to get $50 off a full body intelligence test. That's star 488 to receive a link to the offer.
Monday, March 31st, the Orange Peel presents Neon Trees. Get your tickets now, online at theorangepeel.net.
I want to know if there's a It's Still Real to Me podcast, because if there's not, that's the answer.
Neon Trees, live, March 31st.
Say that again?
I said, I want to know if there's It's Still Real to Me podcast, because if there's not, that's the name.
You're in the thick of a project? Harbor Freight is the place that always comes in handy. Whether you're picking up something for your pickup truck or a power tool for your project, at Harbor Freight, your dollar always goes further. And these days, when everything seems to cost more, you can take pride in knowing that you get hard-working tools at hard-working prices. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
These days, figuring out what, where, and how to watch TV is out of control. And so is the cost. That's why I'm psyched I found Philo. Live TV from A&E, Discovery, MTV, and all the channels I love. A huge library of movies and shows, and an unlimited DVR to save them. I also get AMC Plus and all their blockbuster hits. All this for just $28 a month when you sign up at philo.tv. Give it a try, risk-free at
What was that?
lo.tv.
Buying or selling a home doesn't have to be stressful. Let me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your local real estate expert, guide you every step of the way. Whether you're searching for your dream home, looking to sell quickly, or exploring investment opportunities, I've got the experience and the tools to get you the best deal possible. Call me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty at 828-774-6343. Let's make your real estate dreams a reality. I'm your trusted realtor. I'm making moves and making dreams come true.
In the Sportsocracy, we like to make jokes, and we make jokes about doing ball things. Well, nobody does balls quite like Bear Smokehouse Barbecue. Bear balls, mac and cheese, pulled pork, and cornbread, fried and topped with a cheese sauce and bacon. I can see why they like to talk about their balls so much. And if you like ball things, it's also a great spot to catch the next game. Bear Smokehouse, the official barbecue of the Sportsocracy. Grab you some balls today and join us for the grand reopening March 29th.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville, introducing you to this month's Parks Community Heroes, Corey and Kristen Short and the entire team at Silverados, who converted their music venue in Black Mountain into a donation and distribution zone in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Corey and his team founded Valley Strong Disaster Relief, dedicated to providing essential support to our neighbors in need. Nominate your Parks Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
All right, could some rainfall, certainly not getting any, not only for any of the wildfires or brush fires burning, but for the pollen count. That's going up too. Sunshine, maybe a few clouds and a stiff breeze this afternoon, mild 70. Tonight, a few clouds will fall back into the upper 30s and a little breezy, so maybe a little brisk early Wednesday. Sun a little cooler with that stiff northwest breeze in the afternoon, still 60 degrees. Thursday, sunshine mid-60s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Hear that? It's SpringFest savings calling your name at Lowe's. Get a free Select Ego 56-volt battery when you buy a Select Ego trimmer, blower, or mower. Lowe's, they help, you save. Valid through 4/2. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
If you or a loved one have been a victim of crime, the North Carolina Department of Public Safety Office of Victim Compensation Services provides programs to help you find peace of mind. We are here to help you apply for benefits that you may qualify for to recover from hardships such as lost wages and medical expenses. To learn more, visit ncdps.gov/4victims. That's ncdps.gov/4VICTIMS.
Looking to buy or sell in Asheville? At Clarissa Sells WNC with eXp Realty, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County. Give us a call, 828-774-6343. We're here for what matters most, you.
Join us this March 29th for an evening that blends exceptional music with heartfelt support for Catamount student athletes. Asheville songwriters in concert at WCU Ramsey Center, brought to you by Ingalls Markets. Reserve individual seats starting at just $200 with dinner and drinks included. Or grab a general admission ticket for $65 and enjoy the show. Visit KalohiCollective.com or call 828-227-2401 to get your tickets today. Music, food, and a great cause. Don't miss this unforgettable event.
From the Ingalls studio, WPEK Fairfield, WMXF Waynesville, W225CJ Candler, the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good. Live from the Ingalls studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog see! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God, the Jets killed him.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat and apparently try to name our new wrestling podcast that will be coming soon.
Someone has useless aggression, and it makes me want to go to the UK and fight them. Because that is such a good podcast name. So good. I'm going to contact them after the show and go, what does that cost? Because I want to buy it from you right now.
I would say I'm not sure you could afford it. Is it a big podcast? I mean, do they have an official big page and all that, or
no?
Have you looked into it? Or?
I mean, they have a Spotify. But other than that's it.
Mm-hmm. Many suggestions in the YouTube comments. We have the World Wrestling.
They haven't done a show since 2020. I'm calling you today. I am buying that from you. I will buy you some tea, crumpets, and your podcast, and I will own it.
Right. World Wrestling Falafeling, and you can use the WWF logo. No, you can't.
Nope.
The WWF lost that lawsuit. I'm pretty sure we would lose that lawsuit.
The Panda Bears get real mad.
Yes. Toothless aggression, that's already been used. Not for a podcast, but I mean that was Chris Benoit's nickname, and same thing.
Nope.
As not putting Vince McMahon in the Hall of Fame. We're not doing that.
Nope.
We're not bringing that back. Just going to avoid that one altogether.
Oh, we will figure this out. We have a lot of smart brains on this.
That's too Burt Kreischer-y.
What was it?
The 2 men 1 ring.
Yeah, that also gets into that Cup video that haunted all of our childhoods, and I don't want to do that.
Thank you. The Caged In podcast. It's not terrible.
Yeah, except it makes it sound like we're two Dobermans. And I mean, if we were quantifying ourselves as dogs, I mean, there might be one Doberman here, but there's easily a Pomeranian on the other side.
Yeah, plus the Caged In podcast, I would more expect that would be like a UFC podcast. Like, it's not just cage. It's got to do something with the ring, or I don't know, heels and faces, something to that effect. We'll keep thinking. We'll keep workshopping it. You guys keep doing the same, and if you think anything great, throw it into the YouTube chat, and we'll definitely bring that to the forefront here.
We'll get you a merch bag of the new wrestling podcast if you come up with the name.
Yes. It is the NFL Draftmas season, and Flostradamus hard at work on making sure that you know all of the names to know once it rolls around to draft time. Next month, we are less than one full month away from the start of the NFL draft as things get underway on April the 24th.
30 days today, bruh. 4 weeks from Thursday, bruh. We're going to be taking a tremendous trip to Green Bay, Wisconsin, probably this time 4 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And today, let's talk edge rushers. If we don't have a quarterback drafted at 1, it'll probably be an edge rusher drafted at 1, correct?
I believe so, yes. And I think there's still a really good chance that my number 1 edge is the guy that goes at number 1.
And your number 1 edge is?
Abdul Carter from Penn State.
No surprise. No surprise there. Why is he head and shoulders above everybody else?
This is one of those times that if I have to explain it to you, you don't get it. If you can go back and watch what he did through the playoff, basically with one arm, and not see just how unbelievably good this kid is. And then I need you to factor in the fact this is the first year he's played as a hand-down edge. He was an off-ball linebacker a year ago. He could end up being Micah Parsons level good. Because I'll be honest with you, that's the closest comp. And I hate doing that, where you comp a guy who's got a similar career trajectory to a guy that went to the same college. Abdul Carter is really, really close. He had a 22.6% pass rush win rate last year. Oh, by the way,
that's pretty good.
There are 0 draftable Penn State defensive linemen outside of him. So before you tell me, the talent he had around him, no, he didn't. Not saying it wasn't a talented team, because it was. There are no other Penn State edges, no other Penn State defensive tackles. They're not there. This kid is an absolute animal. And then you add in the fact that he actually can drop as I've never seen a guy more prepared to come in and play 3-4 outside linebacker than Abdul Carter. Because I've already seen him do it. I've seen him play in coverage. I've seen him drop out. And he was not bad at it. He wasn't great at it. But he was as good as what you can expect coming out with a guy that's this explosive. And he's a good run defender. He doesn't really have that much of a deficiency. And when you watch him on tape, there's just not much there that I go, you don't do that well. He's a freak athlete. He's 6'3", 250 pounds. So the body frame is perfect. He's not too long, so he doesn't play too high. And this is with very little in the way of nuance. He hasn't even really figured out how he's going to win. And he was still the best pass rusher in the country. Hey, look, I like a lot of guys in this class. And I have 3 in the top 13. But none of them are close to him. This kid could come in and be Myles Garrett or Micah Parsons, or that's the reason I look at Tennessee and go, don't screw this up. Don't screw this up for a quarterback whose ceiling is Jalen Hurts, the 17th best quarterback in the league, and I'm about to put the best roster in the world around him for him to be good. Don't do that. And that wasn't even shade at Jalen. It was just that's what you're getting out of Cam Ward.
Right. Am I getting high-level quarterback play out of Cam Ward if I take him at 1? That's a real iffy proposition. You know, it's not an iffy proposition. Whether or not I'm going to have one of the most terrifying pass rushes if I have Abdul Carter and Jeffrey Simmons. That's not out of the realm of possibilities. And you say he could be as good as Micah. Is he as interchangeable as Micah?
I don't know that
we've seen Micah play so many different positions.
I don't know that I don't know that that's how I want to use him. And Red Sea, I need to clarify something I just said. He said you don't have Danny Dennis Sutton as a draftable prospect. I do. He's not in this class because he went back to school. I was talking about in terms of senior leadership guys that are like going into the NFL. Danny Dennis Sutton will be he'll go awful high next year. Don't know exactly where, but he will go awful high. Now, in terms of the question you asked me about, is he as movable? He is. I just don't know that a team's going to ask him to do that. Micah's a freak of nature. Abdul Carter's a freak of nature. I don't know that I want him dropping that often. I want him to see ball, get ball. David L. asked, could he be LeVar Arrington? I mean, look, LeVar was a freak of nature. LeVar's one of the best prospects I've ever evaluated. The injuries got a hold of him. He had all kinds of stuff going with him that went the wrong way. But, I mean, Abdul Carter is not of this earth.
And he's the number one edge rusher in this class, and pretty comfortably, correct?
Depends on what you mean by comfortably. I mean, there are guys within 10 spots of him. But in terms of grade, he's almost a full point ahead of any other edge rusher.
Right.
He and Travis Hunter are a full 0.3 of a point ahead of any other player in this class.
All right, number 2 edge rusher.
It's James Pearce, and I don't care. I don't care. You can keep telling me all the reasons that I shouldn't draft this kid. I'm not going to listen to it, and I don't care. Not only are we going to start a wrestling podcast, I'm going to start a James Pearce Jr. Fanboy group, and I'm going to be the chairman and the president because I don't trust anybody with that much money but me.
Uh-huh.
I do not.
Attitude
I will
concerns.
never understand what it is about him that people want to attack so bad. I cannot wrap my brain around it.
Well, the only thing I've heard is vague attitude concerns.
Vague
Can't
attitude
be
concerns.
coached, not a good teammate, stuff like that. I've still yet to hear any actual tangible, this is why he's uncoachable or why he's not a good teammate.
Hey, you know who else won't tell you that? The coaches at Tennessee. Weird. He's uncoachable. And it's all these random, vague, numbered accounts on Twitter that keep telling me how uncoachable he is. You know what's funny? Nobody at Tennessee tells you that. They're not hard to spot because you go to events and they're wearing fluorescent orange. It's not hard to get one of these guys to, hey, what do you think about James Pearce Jr.? Really, really, really good football player. Does he have some immaturity issues? Sure. Do you know how many players in this class I could say that about? Because it's about 150. He's a 21-year-old kid that basically was ordained as a future number 1 pick when he was 19. Does he have a little cocky to him? Probably. He also earned it. This guy had 13.5 sacks in the SEC in a season.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there was a lot of talent at Tennessee. And yes, he didn't play the number of snaps that necessarily you would be looking for. I mean, I think he only played 464 snaps last year. I can say that about every Tennessee defensive lineman. You know, and you know how I choose to look at that? Oh, so you mean he didn't get ground to a nub in college? Okay, so there's still tread on the tires. He's still got room to grow and get better. He had a 23% pass rush win rate in the SEC. Oh, but Georgia. Okay. Georgia, who didn't throw it a ton, first of all. Second of all, that game got way out of hand really early. I just don't care. If you watch the kid play, it's really, really obvious. Alabama, he haunted Jalen Milroe's nightmares. If you don't believe me, go watch the tape. It's not hard to spot. He's the defensive lineman wearing a number that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. 27, if you needed me to tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's elite. I think he will be an elite 3-4 edge rusher. I think he'll be elite in an even front on the outside. And he holds up well against the run. Had over a 10% run stop rate as a pass rusher. Oh, but he's too thin. Well, he wasn't too thin in the SEC. You want to give me too thin and he played in the MAC? Okay, we can talk. He's too thin. Then why did it work in the best football conference in America? It's dumb talk, and it makes me so angry.
Keep letting him fall, and a team will snatch him up happily.
So I pulled the
later in the draft.
I pulled the numbers off the website from our buddies at PFF. Teams most likely to draft James Pearce Jr. according to the mock draft simulator. There are 7 teams that he's the most drafted player that they have. What does that tell you? It tells you that the amateurs that just watch this casually, they look at James Pearce Jr. and go, that dude looks different. And I want my team to draft him. I'm not saying that's the end-all be-all because it's not. Fans get duped all the time. They're not getting duped on James Pearce.
The highest you would take James Pearce in this draft is what?
8 to the Carolina Panthers. If he falls past 17 to the Bengals, he's the value of the draft.
Shoo. That's a lot of teams to say no to a very talented player. Staring at the Atlanta Falcons at 15.
That's where I keep putting
over and over again to do the edge rusher thing, and you failed at every turn. Maybe you should just go, yep, this is the time.
I keep putting him to Atlanta. I really want him to fall to Arizona because Red Sea deserves him. Because Red Sea has believed in him forever, and I think you deserve that kid deserves at least one fan that loves you as much as Red Sea does.
Carolina Panthers at 8 make a whole lot of sense. You need a pass rusher. You need that premier pass rusher, something that you haven't had since the Brian Burns trade, and some would argue you didn't even have it when Brian Burns was in town. I mean, I feel like you did. But James Pearce could be, to me, even a value at 8.
I think he is. I mean, I have him at 8, so that's where he belongs.
Mm-hmm. All right, you want to do one more before the break?
We can do that because the next guy is the grade on him is very similar. He just didn't play the same level of competition.
Okay, number 3.
Mike Greene from Marshall. He also holds up against the run, 20.2% pass rush win rate, had 17 sacks last year at Marshall. He has some character red flags that I'm not as willing to beat the drum on. I will tell you that it can't be found. So I'm not going to say what it was he was accused of. I can tell you there is absolutely no police record of this whatsoever. Trust me, I've looked. And I've gone way deeper than most draft analysts would do. I may have done some things that may or may not have violated the Patriot Act, but you can't prove that. So, keep the FBI away from my door.
Mike Greene, I get the numbers were big at Marshall this past year. Was he on the radar, at least to this level, before he showed up at the Combine?
At the Combine,
or
yes.
Senior Bowl, excuse me.
Yes.
Senior Bowl. That's what
he was I had him in the first round of the first mock draft that I did after the season. He had a great year at Marshall, and the motor was outrageous. Just everything you could possibly want in an edge rusher. He has all of it. All of it. Perfect body frame at 6'4", roughly 250 pounds. I don't have the combine measurements up in front of me. But He also holds up against the run at that size. He's outrageously athletic. The knock on him is, why did you not do this at Virginia? He was irrelevant at Virginia. And then he transfers out, and maybe there were some things that happened in that program. We don't know. They're not talking about it. Anything you hear about Mike Greene is not confirmed. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying it's not confirmed. So I don't see – if I could get clarification that all of the smoke there was nothing, Mike Greene should be picked in the top 12. He should not get past San Francisco or Dallas. With that hanging over him, it makes it more possible that he falls into the 20s. And if I was Mike Greene, he vehemently denied it all at the combine. I'm not sure that I wouldn't. Okay, let me fall to the 20s. Let me fall to the Baltimore Ravens or the Buffalo Bills or one of these good teams where I'm not the only edge rusher and I can come in as a specialized guy to begin with and really round out the technique. You got to remember he's a really young guy too. Mike Greene's only 21 years old when the season starts next year. So there's still a lot of room to grow with this kid. I love him in a 3-4 as well.
Okay. Top 3 edge rushers in the 2025 NFL draft class. Number 1, Abdul Carter. Number 2, James Pearce. Number 3, Mike Greene. We'll continue the top 13 by @ESPN Draft Nerd when we return.
We know that a winning season out here takes practice, teamwork, and a can-do attitude. Thankfully, when it comes to teamwork, it's great to have a neighbor like Tractor Supply. No matter the season, our team members are here to help. Like you, they know that nothing beats the feeling of seeing all your hard work pay off. Whether you're caring for pets, chickens, or a few acres, we have everything you need to get the most out of life out here. Season after season, Tractor Supply. For life out here.
Hard work and dreams lead to success, but easily filing your taxes with TurboTax and Credit Karma doesn't hurt either. Make filing taxes a walk in the park, because we'll pre-fill your info for you so you can file quickly and confidently. Winner! Get the peace of mind that comes with expert help. Let's go! Being powered by TurboTax means you're backed by the leading tax preparer, and we'll show you all your filing options up front so there are no surprises. File your taxes on Intuit Credit Karma today. Expert help not available with all products. Guarantee details available at turbotax.com/guarantees.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. So you can stream games during Mad March hours, check the weather for April showers, and watch gardening videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 4/15/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's Business Solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Dan Scott here, inviting you to check out my new show every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. here on ESPN Asheville, where we bring sports and faith together. The Dan Scott Show, 8 a.m. Sundays on ESPN Asheville.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
Buying or selling a home doesn't have to be stressful. Let me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your local real estate expert, guide you every step of the way. Whether you're searching for your dream home, looking to sell quickly, or exploring investment opportunities, I've got the experience and the tools to get you the best deal possible. Call me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty at 828-774-6343. Let's make your
38 seconds.
reality. I'm your trusted realtor. I'm making moves and making dreams come true.
Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville is back. Join us on the... Okay. at Bears on the South Slope for a lighthearted, rage-releasing benefit party appropriately named To Hell with Helene. We'll exercise some demons together. A little axe throwing, a pie eating contest, mechanical bull rides. There'll be live music and, of course, great barbecue. Proceeds from the party will support Linked for Life, a mental health initiative. Say To Hell with Helene with us at Bears Smokehouse grand reopening downtown March 29th.
The Sportsocracy.
What are you people? On dope?
And we are back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville live from the Ingles studio and the NFL Draft.net Mullet Manor. You want to check out all of the top rankings, the position-by-position rankings, overall prospect rankings, breakdowns and such, latest mock drafts. It's all available at NFL Draft.net. Go through the top 13 edge rushers in the 2025 NFL draft class. We've worked our way to number 4.
Oh, we have breaking news.
Okay.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
You know, smart teams do smart things, and this was smart things that somehow slipped across my radar, and I had not seen this. The Tennessee Titans released Chidobe Awuzie. He just signed with the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
So Baltimore went from Brandon Stevens to Chidobe Awuzie, which, if you need a comparison, that would be like going from dating a Labradoodle to the girl that was in Wolf of Wall Street. What is her name? I can see her face, but
Robbie.
Margot Robbie. Yeah, that would be like going from a Labradoodle to Margot Robbie. The Jets, on the other hand, could not wait to pay $12 million to that Labradoodle. Because the Jets.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, they signed him for 1 year, up to $7.5 million. So not only did you get better, you got cheaper. Because somehow Brandon Stevens got $12 million a year. Huh. That's... You know, I wonder why the Ravens have been to the playoffs like 15 of the last 17 years. And the last time the Jets went to the playoffs, Barack Obama was the president of the United States. Oh, it makes me, it's so hard to be a Jets fan. Like, I don't need a reason to drink, but I am so glad you give me one daily.
So I mean, does that open the door? Can they replace one Colorado Buffalo with another one?
Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
Not having Chidobe Awuzie does make Travis Hunter more palatable. Because that was my objection the whole time on him.
Right.
I don't think they're going to do that, but it does open the door. Yes.
And do we wait around and see if we got a shot at Arch next year?
If
you were able to bring Arch Manning to the Tennessee Titans, that's a marketing match made in heaven.
I would love to know how I've mentioned Chidobe Awuzie like 43 times and nobody has felt the urge to go, hey, stupid, he got cut, and you somehow didn't see it.
He was released, yes.
I did not know that. I get a press release from the NFL every day of transactions, and somehow I did not see that one. And then Baltimore just came through and went, hey, everybody else is sleeping, and we're going to go get this good player and put him on our defense that's going to be even better. Smart's going to smart and dumb's going to dumb.
Mm-hmm.
That's the NFL in a nutshell. Smart teams do smart things. Dumb teams do dumb things.
Amazing breakdown. That's the only top-notch kind of analysis that you'll get from Flostradamus. Number 1 in the class this year, Abdul Carter, James Pearce, Mike Greene. Who's number 4?
4 for me is, this gets a little more difficult because now you're starting to get into the guys that play multiple positions. I'm going to stick with the guy that I know can see quarterback, get quarterback. So 4 for me is Donovan Ezeraku. I love this kid, and I don't know why he's not getting the love, because I don't see how he gets through that minefield at the end of the first round with good teams that need edge rushers without somebody going, thank you for letting him fall to us. I get he played at a school that's not necessarily known for producing great defensive talent, but this one is. This one's a dog. He's a little short, which makes me think he might be better off as a 3-4 pass rusher, but I'm not sure that I care. I'm not sure that I care where he lands. He might be the smartest player in this class. When you watch him on film, there are times that it's almost like he's in the defensive huddle because he never gets duped. Play action, you never see him do that weird thing where an edge rusher just barrels down on a tackle and then stops. He never does that. I don't know if there's a tracker in the ball that only he can see. I don't know if he's got a nose like a bloodhound. I don't know. But he never gets duped. He's a great tackler. One of the lowest missed tackle rates in this class. And then you get to an 18.2% pass rush win rate. He holds up against the run. I think he's ready-made to play off the ball as a 3-4 edge rusher. And then you put him with his hand in the dirt and even fronts. He screams Baltimore Raven to me. And I'm not just saying that because they just signed Chidobe Awuzie. I think I've said that like 20 times. He just strikes me as the kind of guy that falls right in Baltimore's lap. And I see it coming 5 picks before Baltimore shows up. Just don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. They satiated the corner need. They don't have to earmark that pick for one of those now, and they wind up with the edge rusher that just wrecks everybody's head for the next 10 years.
But if he's the number 4 edge rusher in this class, is he going to fall to 27?
I think there's so many that there's a possibility that you see kind of I could see there being a run on edge rushers that starts somewhere around 15 and ends somewhere in that Baltimore, Buffalo, Detroit, Washington run.
Right.
One of them is going to go there. There's one that I have not said yet that I think goes ahead of probably the last 3 guys I've said.
Mm-hmm. I feel like there's going to be a bunch there in that realm that are at least going to strongly consider taking that edge rusher away from you. Atlanta, Arizona, Cincinnati could use one depending on what happens with Trey Hendrickson. Tampa Bay in the market for an edge rusher. The Chargers, the Packers. It's a lot of teams looking for edge rush help.
David L. said, I hope he meant the offensive huddle. I'd hope he's in the defensive huddle. Donovan Ezraku is so good at knowing where the ball is that I think he does hang out in the offensive huddle, and they just don't tell him to go away because they're scared of him.
Right. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is
Clear.
Get a weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
All right, could use some rainfall. Certainly not getting any, not only for any of the wildfires or brush fires burning, but for the pollen count. That's going up too. Sunshine, maybe a few clouds, and a stiff breeze this afternoon, mild, 70. Tonight, a few clouds will fall back into the upper 30s and a little breezy, so might be a little brisk early Wednesday. Sun a little cooler with that stiff northwest breeze in the afternoon, still 60 degrees. Thursday, sunshine, mid-60s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Apple Tree Superstore.
Congrats to Apple Tree Acura on the 2024 Acura Precision Team Award. Apple Tree Acura with the 2025 Integra, 2025 RDX, and the 2025 MDX. Apple Tree, Western North Carolina's local Acura dealer and home of the Apple Tree Advantage. I-26 Airport Road, Asheville.
Your stomach is a mess and you feel lousy. Something is just off, but you don't know what. Yeah, we get it. You've tried every fad diet and supplement under the sun, and none of it worked. Here's the truth. Your gut's a mess, and your body is letting you know. You're just too busy, and you ignore the signs, making it worse. Viome gets straight to the point, analyzing your gut microbiome to give you a personalized health plan that actually works. Your gut is how your body processes everything that you consume. Stop ignoring the signs.
I'm assuming
it's
we're
time to do
skipping
something
weird.
real. Get Viome and fix your gut.
Yeah, because we still
Text
got
to get $50 off a full body intelligence
9
test.
more of these
That's
guys to get
star
through.
488.
Right.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey, more like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
In the Sportsocracy, we like to make jokes, and we make jokes about doing ball things. Well, nobody does balls quite like Bear Smokehouse Barbecue. Bear balls, mac and cheese, pulled pork, and cornbread, fried and topped with a cheese sauce and bacon. You can see why they like to talk about their balls so much. And if you like ball things, it's also a great spot to catch the next game. Bear Smokehouse, the official barbecue of the Sportsocracy. Grab you some balls today and join us for the grand reopening March 29th.
It's the moment you dream of, the moment you work for, train for, run wind sprints when nobody's watching for, the moment when hours of gym time, court time, prep time, all culminate into this time, the moment when millions of bounces, blocks, and boards all add up to this, your moment. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Looking to buy or sell in Asheville? At Clarissa Sells WNC with eXp Realty, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County. Give us a call, 828-774-6343. We're here for what matters most, you.
The Sportsocracy.
Let's open up the whole can of kick ass and kill them all. Let the paramedics sort them out.
We are less than a month away from the start of the 2025 NFL Draft up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, April the 24th. The 3-day festivities, or 3 days of festivities, I guess I should say, will get underway up there in Cheesehead territory. Any cool stuff to do up in Green Bay rather than just seeing the field? Have you looked into any of that?
Well, we're staying on Lake Michigan, which that doesn't hurt. So we'll be able to see a nice serene lake outside of our house.
Oh, it's a pretty big lake.
It's a big lake. Yeah, it's pretty sizable.
Like oceanfront property.
Sure.
Right
yeah. And I promise to only get intoxicated once and throw you in it.
That's not happening.
Look, we are. I feel honored that we are 17 years removed from the anniversary of T-Pain rhyming Wisconsin with mansion, and now we get to spend 5 days there for the NFL Draft.
Excuse me.
Honor, and a privilege.
All right, that was the thing that actually happened.
I do want a Wisconsin shirt, which they sell. I want one for at least one day of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Honored to be in Wisconsin.
Yes. The Green Bay attractions. Just a quick Google search here. You have the Bay Beach Amusement Park, which Green Bay in April, I'm not sure that's riding rides territory. The Green Bay Botanical Garden, which I know you're all about, Jeremy. The Bay Beach Wildlife Sanctuary, and finally, the Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame.
So a lot of caribou. That's what you're telling me? We got a lot of caribou up here in Wisconsin?
You can see the National Railroad Museum. Uh-huh.
I don't have a cricket sounder, but I would, if I did, I would be hitting it right now.
That's all you got. The list of top attractions in Green Bay, Wisconsin, like the third page of it. It only gives you like 4 of the top choices, and then you can kind of scroll through it. So, like, the 12th most popular attraction is Lambeau Field Lot 1. Awesome.
I'm looking forward to drinking some beers, eating some cheese, and admiring the fives that Wisconsin, the best of fives that Wisconsin has to offer.
The draft is coming up in just under a month, April the 24th, and we're talking edge rushers this hour on the program.
She's a Wisconsin 8, which means she's a Los Angeles 2.
Flostradamus's top 13 edge rushers in this class. Who's number 5?
That's where you get to Shemar Stewart. It's such a projection that it's hard for me. It's hard for me with Shemar Stewart because the production's just not there. Now, do I think a lot of that was Texas A&M? Yes, I do. Is he a physical freak of nature? Yes, I do. Does it give me the angina to see him constantly being mocked to the Carolina Panthers at 8? Yes, it does. I've seen so many of these guys fail. So many of these combine monsters that just come into the league and they can't play. I mean, I hate to go Vernon Golston here, but this kind of reminds me of that. Where you watch him on film and go, hey, he had a game, and he was awesome in that one game. Other than that, he didn't really matter. And he came to the league, he couldn't play. And I worry about that. I also worry about guys that don't have a position. Hey, he can play defensive tackle and stand up and rush the passer. Hell, you might be able to put him at safety. Yeah, but is he good at any of it? I know he's going to be a good run defender in the NFL. I think he's a 4-3 defensive tackle. I know a lot of teams are evaluating him as an edge, so that's why I'm putting him here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I would ever get to the point where I took him. I don't know that I surely couldn't take him over Pearce or Greene or Ezeraku. Now, if we were talking about him as a defensive tackle, which we're going to talk about in the next hour, then you're looking at him behind. I'm not going to give the names, but I will say he would be my 4 among defensive tackles.
Okay. So the production wasn't there, but the physical attributes are? Is that what you're saying?
He's a physical freak of nature. I mean, he ran a 4.67 as a giant. Right. I mean, there's nothing the kid can't do. But my question is, why don't you do it? And it could be that, look, Texas A&M asked him to do a lot of things, some of which I don't necessarily love. I mean, look, last year he played roughly 30 snaps as a true interior defensive tackle. He played 117 snaps over the tackle. He played almost 400 over the tackle, and then he played 3 off the ball. That's a lot of stuff for one kid to have to do. And look, and people will get lost on the snap count. Well, they didn't ask him to do it that much. No, but they asked him to practice it. And so you're taking a lot of time away from him actually reforming any kind of skill at one position. So that's the biggest thing for me. Whoever takes him, and I get it, you watch the Arkansas tape, you watch South Carolina tape, you fall in love with the raw measurables on him, I get it. But you got to figure out one position. Do not think he's just this jack of all trades that you can chuck out there and play 4 positions.
All right, at number 6, after Shemar Stewart.
This is a kid who I want to be his agent just so I can have shirts made that say, hurtin' for a scortin'. Nick Scorton.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you talk about the kid that went to Texas A&M that I think you screwed him up because they bulked him up 20 pounds, and he was nowhere near as good at A&M as he was at Purdue. It's this kid. My fear is a team's going to take him as a 3-4 end because that's what they've seen him do most recently. I think he's a 4-3 D end. And I would love him in Buffalo. I would love him in Detroit. I think that's where he belongs. I'm afraid he's not going to go that high. Here's what I really think happens. Cleveland gets him at the top of 2. They took Cam or my brain just
Travis
completely blanked. They take Cam Ward at 2 because I'm like I said, I'm still not convinced Abdul Carter's not going 1. And then they take Scorton at their top pick in the second round. And I'll walk away and go, hey, Cleveland, I don't love your first round pick, but man, I love your second round pick. He was a head wrecker at Purdue. He wasn't that at Texas A&M. And this is another one of those times. Just because a guy can do it doesn't mean he should. Get him back down to 265, maybe even 260, and play him on the outside of an even front. And I think you'll be really happy with what you got.
Okay.
I'm also dumbfounded at how Mike Elko looked at a guy who's some of the best tape you'll see on him. He has got a spin move that is absolutely wicked. I would kill to know how Mike Elko looked at that and went, hey, you know what we should do? We should play him over the tackle some. I don't know how you got there, but okay. Sure, Mike. You're a smart defensive guy. I think you screwed that one up real good, but
back-to-back Texas A&M players. Let's go number 7 edge rusher for the 2025 NFL draft class.
Jack Sawyer. It's not that I'm souring on him. I'm starting to see some of the things that people have told me that maybe at 23 years old he's pegged and he's never going to be more than the 17.5% pass rush win rate guy that he was on a defensive line with Williams and Tui Moluau and all of the Cody Simon and all the other pieces that they had, because you watch his feet and he's not as fleet of foot as you want him to be. I want a guy that lists at roughly 255, 260. I need you to be a little more fluid than he is. He's kind of choppy. Like, it's just like, the best way I can explain it's almost like somebody greased the bottom of his cleats and he's having to just really turn his legs. And that's great if you're really strong in the lower half. I'm not so sure that he is. I think he's a really, in terms of body build, he's a fluid edge rusher like Ezraku, like Mike Greene. The only problem is that he doesn't have the physical gifts that those guys do. And so it gets into, he's the high motor guy. Well, the high motor guy's a 3rd round pick. And yeah, for every Trey Hendrickson, I can give you a slew of other guys that motor just didn't translate because you're not athletic enough. And that's where my fear has come with him. And then I just got to a point where I started comparing them 1v1. I can't have you over Shemar Stewart. Shemar Stewart has more athleticism in his right hand than you have in your entire body. I can't do it. Now, if his motor was in Shemar Stewart, that's the number 1 pick in this draft, and it's probably not all that close. But it's not. So I think he's to me, he's a Detroit Lion into the second round. He goes into one of these teams that just really, they're all into the motor. They rotate defensive ends out, and you can use him as a situational pass rusher so that he can use that power. Because he is a great bull rush type of edge. It's just, I'm not sure some of the ways he won at Ohio State are going to translate to the NFL.
All right, number 8.
Princely Uman Malayan. I love this kid so much. I'm just afraid that he's going to get typecast into he's a thin edge that didn't run crazy fast. Now, his split was really good. A split actually means more than the 40 does to an edge. I think a smart team takes him at the end of the second. They may stand him up, but he's going to be a pass rush specialist to start, and then we're going to see if you can hold up against the run. He held up against the run in college. I'm not sure that he will at the NFL level just because he plays really high. His pad level is always really, really high to me. And that translates to a late 2, early 3. But, man, he can get after a quarterback. Good Lord have mercy, he can get after a quarterback. The Florida tape was good. The Ole Miss tape was out of this world.
Number 9.
this is where we start to get a little cuter into what are we talking about. Because my 9 is JT Tuimoloau. I don't think he's really an edge rusher. He plays defensive end, but he's not an edge rusher because he's not a very good pass rusher. I think he can develop into a usable piece. I keep hearing the comp on Jack Sawyer to Trey Hendrickson. I see way more Trey Hendrickson in JT Tuimoloau than I see in Sawyer. JTT is going to hold up against the run from day one. Like, that's a 3-down guy. The problem is that you need a really elite pass rusher on the other side, and it would really help if you had a pass rushing defensive tackle. And I'll give you an example with a team that I just so happen to be close to. I love the idea of him with the Jets. So you rotate him and Will McDonald. You play him on more of those early downs. You've got Jermaine Johnson on the other side that can play all 3 downs because he holds up against the run and is an elite pass rusher. You keep those 2 guys fresh, and I think it would help Will McDonald hold up on those second down runs that he's come in for, because you got Quinnen Williams inside you that can rush a passer and keep you in those one-on-one situations. He's not a natural pass rusher, but he's probably the best run defensive end in this class.
All right, at number 10.
This was kind of a late riser for me. I saw him at the Senior Bowl, and this is one of those that I have to give a fait accompli. I saw him in the summer, and he was playing off-ball linebacker, and I did not love what I saw. UCLA converted him last year to a true edge, and I liked more of what I saw when I went back and watched him after the Senior Bowl. I don't think I can have him any higher than this because the body frame really bothers me. It's Ola Oladejo out of LSU. This kid looks like Thor, God of Thunder. I saw him at the Senior Bowl, and I asked Bill Workman, I was like, that dude looks like he would kill me if I got too close to him. But then I started really digging into it going, okay, you're a thin 250. I think you play closer to about 240. And I didn't love everything that I saw at UCLA. He may be more athlete than he is football player right now. But if you're willing to put the time in, I've seen him go in the first round of mock drafts, and I think that is complete lunacy. I like him more in that 2 to 3 fringe where, yes, he can play some off-ball linebacker. I didn't think he was elite at that, but he was fine. I had a draftable grade on him as a linebacker. Then what I saw of him as an edge rusher, I can develop that over time, and I think he has a higher upside. He kind of reminds me of another name that we're going to say here in a minute, in Kyle Kennard, that you have physical limitations that are going to be a little bit of a problem for you. But to just come in and really fixate on being able to hold up as that situational pass rusher and learn how to do it, I think there's enough in him, because he does have long arms and he's a freak athlete, that I think you could get more out of him on the high side. The floor is scary. The floor is what keeps him out of the first round for me, because he could wash out in 3 years. And I would not be shocked in the least. But, man, if you can get the most of him, he has almost 34-inch arms at 6'2".
Wow.
His arms are a full 2 inches longer than Will Campbell, who is 6'6". That's a raw body build that you can turn into a really elite pass rusher.
Yep. Number 11.
Oh, this is a name that people are probably going, hey, why have you not said him yet? Because I don't like him. Mykel Williams. There's not a lot there to me. You're the Georgia guy. Defend Mykel Williams to me. I'm sure you've got something conjured up for that.
Well, I mean, I like Mykel Williams in the fact that I don't feel like he gives up on run plays. One of my favorite things about him is being able to, because he doesn't look like the big hand down in the dirt guy that I see in my head when I think of hand in the dirt edge rusher. He's a little thin for that. But the fact that he fights through contact and keeps the play from going positive for the other team a lot, I like that about him.
Is he a better run defender than JTT?
No.
I think they're close to equivalent. These are the two best run defenders in the class that play natural edge.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my problem. What position does Michael Williams play? And by the way, I have this problem with a lot of Georgia guys.
At the next level?
Mm-hmm.
Or, well, I mean, at Georgia, he did have, he was on the end of the four-man front.
You think that. All right, so you think he was on the end of the four-man front. And he was about half the time. Then he played on the inside. He ain't big enough to play on the inside in the NFL. Like that, I hate to tell you this. Half of his tape is completely irrelevant because you can't do that in the league. You can't be a 260-pound defensive tackle, which is what I feel like he kind of tries to play. I would love him if I knew I could bulk him up and he would stay as athletic as he is, and maybe I could teach him to be a 3-4 end. Because that's what his play style is. The problem is he's too thin for that. And Kirby Smart kept saying, we're going to stand him up. We're going to stand him up. We're going to stand him up. But why didn't you? How many plays do you think he stood up in 3 years at Georgia? Just take a stab at it.
12.
You're too high. It's 6. They did it 6 times in 3 years. That tells me something. Kirby Smart's one of the best defensive coaches in this country. He couldn't get it out of him. I think some random coordinator in the NFL is going to do it. He's going to be really good against the run. He's a complete toss-up against the pass.
Yep. All right, you're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. You want to mention your last two edge rushers here before we get to the break?
Kyle Kennard, that's the Trey Hendrickson comp to me. I think that kid's motor runs really high. He's thinly built to be a 3-down edge, so I think he's going to be a pass rush specialist to begin with. His pass rush win rate was really, really high. And then my last one, and this is a movement for me. I had Josiah Stewart and Braden Swinson tied at 13th. Q Robinson from Alabama just passed them. That kid is freak athletic. He could not get on the field at Alabama, and I don't know why. And it does make me a little nervous. But at the same time, if you ever unlock, he's the best special teams player in this class. Blocking punts, blocking field goals, he can do it all. If you ever unlock that as a defensive player, you talk about a kid that 3 years from now, we're going to be going, how in the hell did he not get on the field at Alabama? That's him. So Q Robinson's my 13, but Josiah Stewart and Braden Swinson are right there behind him.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. We'll talk defensive tackles after the top of the hour. Stick with us.
Some people just...
And you're clear.
...on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the GPS directions for...
You're all good.
...or driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
The mall. What happened to Landon Jackson? Did you bump him down?
Mall. Checking first is smart.
Calculating.
So check...
Oh, okay.
Hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Roger.
Asking about cute.
Okay. Just want to make sure you didn't leave him off by accident.
If you're wondering if you are a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips,
okay, cool.
joints, trouble sleeping, walking day-to-day movement? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? And most importantly, do you miss doing things you love because joint pain is holding you back? Walking, golfing, jogging? If you answered yes to any of those, I'd bet you're a great candidate. So please don't wait. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Call 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville.
I'm checking out some reviews for Asheville Smiles Cosmetic and Family Dentistry, and Craig had this to say. Dr. Merrill and the staff all have gone above and beyond to assist me immediately with compassionate care 2 times in dental emergencies that I have had recently, swiftly diagnosing and relieving the pain that I was experiencing experiencing, followed by prompt restoration. That type of service makes regular checkups and cleaning anxiety-free, knowing that you are in the best of hands. If you want to know that you are in the best of hands with your dental care, then head on over to AshevilleSmiles.com.
It's the moment you dream of. The moment you work for. Train for. Run wind sprints when nobody's watching for. The moment when hours of gym time, court time, prep time, all culminate into this time. The moment when millions of bounces, blocks, and boards all add up to this. Your moment. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville, introduced
Stripper glitter?
The heroes, Corey and Kristen Short, and the entire team at Silverados, who converted their music venue in distribution zone in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Corey and his team,
nice,
strong disaster relief, dedicated to providing essential support to our neighbors in need. Nominate your Parks Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
All right, could use some rainfall. Certainly not getting any, not only for any of the wildfires, brush fires burning, but for the pollen count. That's going up to sunshine, maybe a few clouds, and a stiff breeze this afternoon, mild 70. Tonight, a few clouds will fall back into the upper 30s and a little breezy, so it might be a little brisk early Wednesday. Sun a little cooler with that stiff northwest breeze in the afternoon, still 60 degrees. Thursday, sunshine mid-60s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Apple Tree Superstore.
Congrats to Apple Tree Honda on the 2024 Honda Council of Excellence Award. Apple Tree Honda with the 2025 Ridgeline, 2025 Pilot, and the all-new 2026 Passport. Apple Tree, Western North Carolina's local Honda dealer and home of the Apple Tree Advantage, I-26 Airport Road, Asheville.
At Tractor Supply, we know that a winning season out here takes practice, teamwork, and a can-do attitude. Thankfully, when it comes to teamwork, it's great to have a neighbor like Tractor Supply. No matter the season, our team members are here to help. Like you, they know that nothing beats the feeling of seeing all your hard work pay off. Whether you're caring for pets, chickens, or a few acres, we have everything you need to get the most out of life out here. Season after season, Tractor Supply. For life out here.
Shop Mattress Firm's Upgrade Your Sleep sale. See a sleep expert and get matched with your perfect bed so you sleep better at night. You'll even get 120 nights to love it or your money back. Restrictions apply.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with a new way to enjoy our beautiful planet. Reduce your impact on the environment this fall by packing a waste-free lunch for school or work. Avoid foods with excessive packaging. Use reusable cutlery, napkins, cups, bags, and containers, and recycle or compost any waste when possible. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
From the Ingalls Studio, WPEK Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, W225CJ Candler, the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good. Live from the Ingalls Studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the best dog eat! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God. The Jets killed him.
We are back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. You're listening on 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. And, of course, on the YouTubes, you can watch us live. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat. Get your super chats in as well if you would like, and support the Sportsocracy and all of our shenanigans here weekdays from 12 to 3 here on ESPN Asheville. The Draftmas season continues to be the it really is. What else are you gonna pay attention to right now?
Could you detail the Denver Nuggets bench rotation, please? That'd be fantastic. Maybe talk about the bullpen for the Oakland Athletic.
By the way, we are doing that Oakland A's thing.
What Oakland A's thing?
The daily update
of the
Oakland
update?
A's. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm just going to cover them myself since nobody else wants to. But I'm going to cover them as old Southern lawyer, the voice in my head for Civil War General Andrew Luck. My dearest Violet, no one showed up at the stadium today. The cold winter is over and the flowers are blooming, but no one cares about Oakland Athletics baseball.
Nice. Very nice. Opening day is coming up this week. Atlanta Braves baseball heard here on ESPN Asheville all season long. 4 o'clock or 3:55 is the start time on Thursday. Game 1 of the season as the Braves are on the road against the San Diego Padres. The NFL draft is just a month away. April the 24th is the first round of the draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin, as we get you prepared for the big trip, as we'll be taking the Parks Ford of Hendersonville mobile studio up to Green Bay, Wisconsin for that 75-hour drive.
Well, we're going to split it into 2 days. You know, we'll stay in a city that's awesome, and then take the other half of the trip up there on Wednesday.
Let me guess, Nashville.
Why? You don't direction so good. Let's go we'll go due west to get to a place that's northwest. Now, we're going to have to go a little higher than that. I mean, I'm down. Okay. The only problem is that the drive from Nashville is going to be about an hour shorter than the drive from here. We tried to cut the trip down, so we went to cool Nashville before we went to Green Bay. It's 12 hours from Nashville. It's 11 hours from Nashville.
You said a cool place between here and there. That's about the only one.
Oh, no. I was there. Detroit was the first. That was the first thought that I had.
Damn, you might as well just keep going, shouldn't you?
Well, I mean, maybe. I like Detroit. I want a buddy.
We're going to cut it into 2 days. Day 2, we'll drive an hour and a half.
I want a buddy's pizza.
27.
I want a buddy's pizza. You leave me alone. We're going to be that close to buddies. I want it.
There's still one in the freezer here.
I know. I'm planning on eating it Thursday during our little fun Braves hangout on the back patio at iHeart. Don't tell people about that. If somebody eats my pizza, I will cut them.
No, they won't. They won't. It's got our names on it. I guarantee you nobody's going in there to eat it.
Well, if it's got our names, they probably think it's cat food.
But they're afraid of you.
Yes.
All right, let's get into the Flostradamus top 13 defensive tackles for the 2025 NFL Draft. Your number 1 in this class is that kid from Michigan, right?
Mason Graham. No doubt. Oh, but he's got little arms. I don't care if he's only got one of them. He is the best defensive tackle in this class, and it's not really all that close. He's about third overall prospect. He is the definition of prospect fatigue. We have talked about him for so long that people thought he was going to like sprout wings and learn to fly. And when he didn't do that, oh, well, now his arms are too short. He can't play in it. How many defensive tackles in college football last year were higher rated than Mason Graham?
I guess 0.
It's 0. Yeah, you want to hear that list again? Because we do this 5 or 6 times in like a second because there's not one there. He was 5 last year. I mean, he's an elite prospect. If he gets to 7 with the Jets, I will be the happiest person in North America. And if they take Armin Mimbu over him, I might show Maholis. Because I will be very angry.
Uh-huh. Him and Quinnen Williams.
Oh, doesn't that sound good together? Quinnen Williams, Mason Graham, Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson.
Well, your New York Jets will damn sure not have that problem again of we can't stop the run.
Yes. Mason, and look, that's the drawback on him, is he is an elite run defender. I'm not sure that he's ever going to be an elite pass rusher, but I think he's a good one.
There's just no give there. When he's on the field, there is no cushion in the middle of the offensive line.
Yes.
You will go nowhere.
If you
Centers, guards, whoever, you're not going anywhere against him.
If you ever want to see the living embodiment of speed to power, when we talk about that little buzzword during the draft, just throw on some Mason Graham tape and figure out everything he does. That is speed to power.
Mm-hmm. All right, Mason Graham's 1. Who's 2?
This is where it gets a little cuter for me because 2 and 3 are very close and they're very different players. My 2 is Walter Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is still more to be had from him. And he is almost as good against the run as Mason Graham is. And I'm not sure that he doesn't have a higher upside in terms of what he can be as a pass rusher. Look, we only got one real year of tape from him that makes any sense. The way Texas A&M used him was dumb. And then he got to Ole Miss and you went, there he is. There's the number 1 player in the class. That was the number 1 recruit in America, and that's why. Now we get into what could be seen as a negative, but to me is at worst a net neutral, could be even a positive. What position does he play best? I feel like we've just chalked him up as he is a no doubt B gap, no doubt 3 tech, no doubt gonna play as a 4-3 defensive tackle. I'm not sure I don't like him better as a 5 tech, as a 3-4 defensive end. And I'll tell you why I say that. When I watch the tape on him, his true pass set, pass rush grade was insanely high. Here's what that means. When you're set for a dedicated pass rush set, this is a PFF grade that I've learned to really like because it's a really good indicator of what a guy's going to be. Aaron Donald crushed this when he was at Pittsburgh. When you tell this kid it's a pass rush set, he's a really good pass rusher. The problem is sometimes he doesn't trust his eyes. It's much easier to trust your eyes when there's a 3-4 outside linebacker behind you that can crash down in the instance of a pass rush. So he can just attack as a 5 tech in a way that he can't as a 3. In a 4-3 defensive alignment, you've basically got one middle linebacker behind you. You got 2 safeties. So if you miss this read, and this is a play action, and you crash down, and it's even worse this way, you crash down and it's a run, now there's a big gaping hole in this defense that has a middle linebacker behind him, and that's all I got. And usually that guy's reasonably is smaller, so big running backs can really win right there. It almost feels at times like Nolan doesn't want to be the big gaping hole in the defense. And so as opposed to winning as a pass rusher, he just kind of stays in place. And so people say, oh, well, the motor's not as good. No, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's a motor problem. I think it's a trusting your eyes problem. And he didn't really develop at Texas A&M. And I think there's a lot still there. I know I got super inside baseball right there, but it's my explanation for why I'm so much higher on Nolan than a lot of other people are. Mm-hmm. I think he can be. Obviously, Aaron Donald is the gold standard. I think he can be a step below that. And I keep putting him with Green Bay and I'm trying to think, Arizona. I think he can be an elite prospect in those types of defense. I think he's good regardless. But you get him in the right spot, and he could be, you could be talking about a 7, 8, 9, 10-time Pro Bowler.
Right. All right, Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. He is the number 2 defensive tackle in this class. You said your number 3 was real close to him. Who is that?
Sorry, I started reading the chat, and my brain went to that place that Matthew McConaughey's always talking about.
Right. Walter Nolan is the 2. You said the 3 was real close. So who's the 3?
The 3's Kenneth Grant. Now, Kenneth Grant, on the high side, his high-end tape is top 10 pick. And the more time has gone on, the more I'm starting to think that he could turn into just an elite nose tackle. The problem is the teams that I keep hearing really like him play even front. And I'm not sure that I love him as much as a 4-3 D tackle as I do as a 3-4 nose tackle. He's a giant human. He's 340 pounds and he moves like he's 270. But there are just times, there are times that you see him, PFF called it in attack mode, which I think is about as well as I can say it. When he's in see ball, get ball, he's as good as we have in this class. He also had Mason Graham on the inside of him. He also had Josiah Stewart on the outside of him. It should have been that he was in attack mode more often than he was. And this is one of those times I'm taking somebody else's evaluation. I'm using your lines because you said it better than I did. And now I'm going to elaborate what I see that bothers me about him. Those attack mode plays are incredible. I mean, he could be Vita Vea with a better pass rush set. That's how good this kid can be. But why did it not happen more? Why did you look so passive so often? Why were you so passive as a pass rusher? Time and time again. And really most of when I saw him in that attack mode that Trevor Sycamore was talking about was when Michigan was ahead. This year, I really saw the deficiency of when you're playing in these contested games, and he really doesn't know what's coming. It almost felt like he was guessing at times. And he would get out of position, and then he would get really passive. But then you keep coming back to the good. And you just go, there's not many guys on this planet that can move like that. There's not many guys that are that strong. There are not that many guys that are that agile. He's a top 20 pick. He really needs to be coached. If he's going to be a nose tackle, you need to coach him at nose tackle and nothing else. Very similar to what Tampa Bay did with Vita Vea. You can attest to this better than most. Tampa Bay was completely taking Vita Vea out on third downs because they did not want to. They did not want to convolute his head. You are a nose tackle, and by hook or by crook, we're going to teach you that. And it took 2 full years. Mm-hmm. And then he just keeps getting better every single day. If a team is willing to commit, of which that's a commitment, because you've got to have another defensive tackle outside of the other starter. You've got to have a nickel set defensive tackle that replaces Kenneth Grant in those situations. You've got to be so dedicated to who he is and what he's going to be. And I'm hoping that the fact he's probably going to go in the top 20 will allow that. I don't do this enough. I would love to see him wind up on the same team as Aeneas Peebles. Aeneas Peebles comes in on third downs, and now I just allow you to be a true nose for a year or two. And then I can figure it out. In those 3-4 sets, Peebles can kick out to 5 tech, and now it's complementary drafting because I love the idea of those 2 years from now playing in those 4-man fronts together. I don't want to cloud Kenneth Grant's mind. You're a nose. I am training you to be a nose. Everything else is 2 years away. Again, I went very deep on that one too, and I pride myself on not doing that because a lot of people hear that and their eyes roll in the back of their head and they go, I didn't understand a word you just said. So I hope I didn't do that there. But those 2, Nolan and Grant, to me are such interesting evals. And they're so different, but they both can be so unbelievably good if you do it right.
Yeah, the top 3 of Mason Graham, Walter Nolan, and Kenneth Grant, all first-round prospects. Could we have more than those guys end up in the first round?
Are you asking, could there be more defensive tackles in the...
Yes.
there are a few that people keep putting in the first round that don't belong there. And it just so happens that they're my 4, 5, and 6.
There you go. Coming up next right here on ESPN Asheville.
Hope shows when we work together.
Yeah, we're clear.
Each other. HCA Healthcare's Mission Health and iHeartMedia Asheville are joined to support local businesses impacted by Hurricane Helene. Go to espnavl.iheart.com to nominate a WNC business to win a $2,000 radio campaign. From March through May, iHeart stations will highlight WNC businesses on air, and you can lend your support by shopping local. We are coming back together. We are WNC Strong.
At Tractor Supply, we know that a winning season out here takes practice, teamwork, and a can-do attitude. Thankfully, when it comes to teamwork, it's great to have a neighbor like Tractor Supply. No matter the season, our team members are here to help. Like you, they know that nothing beats the feeling of seeing all your hard work pay off. Whether you're caring for pets, chickens, or a few acres, we have everything you need to get the most out of life out here. Season after season, Tractor Supply. For life out here.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Shop Mattress Firm's Upgrade Your Sleep sale. See a sleep expert and get matched with your perfect bed so you sleep better at night. You'll even get 120 nights to love it or your money back. Restrictions apply.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, we found out a lot of things about our community. We saw neighbors helping neighbors, and we learned in desperate times one of the best things to have around is a redneck with a chainsaw.
Not just a chainsaw, boy, just country boys in general. When you live in these mountains, you figure it out. Like, you make stuff happen.
After answering the calls for help that they heard on the radio, the Chainsaw Brothers are still here, making it happen the right way. Fair, insured, and local. Need tree help? Call the Chainsaw Brothers. 316-1013. 316-1013.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Looking to buy or sell in Western North Carolina? At Clarissa Sells WNC, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County, selling over 100 homes in 2024. We represent both buyers and sellers, and with a personalized approach to meet your needs.
At Clarissa Sells WNC, real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. Call me today, Clarissa Marshall, at 828-774-6343. When it comes to real estate, we're here for what matters most, you.
In the Sportsocracy, we like to make jokes, and we make jokes about doing ball things. Well, nobody does balls quite like Bear Smokehouse Barbecue. Bear balls, mac and cheese, pulled pork, and cornbread, fried and topped with a cheese sauce and bacon. You can see why they like to talk about their balls so much. And if you like ball things, it's also a great spot to catch the next game. Bear Smokehouse, the official barbecue of the Sportsocracy. Grab you some balls today and join us for the grand reopening March 29th.
The Sportsocracy.
Hello, everybody. This is good old JR Jim Ross, WWE Hall of Famer. Boy, these boys are smart. You talk about goofier than a pet coon. Let me tell you something. This show is a legitimate slobber knocker.
It is ESPN Asheville, the Sportsocracy, heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. The NFL Draftmas season is, of course, winding down. I feel like we're at that point where we have to say, it's getting crunch time. We only got 4 weeks left until the NFL draft up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We're doing top 13s on the defensive side of the ball today from at ESPN Draft Nerd. Jeremy, you've got Mason Graham, Walter Nolan, Kenneth Grant as the top 3 defensive tackles in this upcoming class. Who else has first-round buzz?
Well,
your 4?
My rankings are a little bit different from everybody else because there are 2 that are getting first-round buzz. The guy I'm going to say at 4 is getting none, but I have him over the other two. My 4 is TJ Sanders.
Okay.
As he is affectionately referred to by our friends at the NFL Stock Exchange, Connor Rogers and Trevor Sikkema, Bull Rush McIntyre. He is a 4-3 defensive tackle, and he is absolutely going to wreck the brains of interior linemen in this league. I think he is so good at rushing the passer that he may be one of the first situational defensive tackles that I've ever seen. He had an almost 13% pass rush win rate at South Carolina last year. As an interior guy, that is insanity. I don't know how he's going to hold up against the run at the next level. Now, how do you cover that? You have somebody that's really good against the run on the inside of him. Or you have somebody like JTT on the outside of him. He's going to need a little help because he is. It's weird to look at a guy that's 290 pounds and go, you're a little thin for this. It's not that he's thin, it's that he plays thin. But, man, you get him into a pass rush set, and he can absolutely obliterate guards. And if you let him get in a gap, the quarterback might as well just lay down because this is not going to go your way. When he shoots that gap, he looks like he's shot out of a cannon. But, man, he is going to have to get stronger. That's one that you want in the weight room every single day. Because if you get him stronger and you don't lose that pop, that could be a top 25 player. And I have him pretty close to that. He's just outside of my top 25.
But why is he not getting the love?
Because teams think he can't hold up against the run. They think he is just a pass rusher. He's another one that I've heard talk of him winding up at 5 tech. I don't see it as much with him. I think he is a true 3 tech. But, man, you get into in a passing league, yeah, I'm fine. If I've got to go get one of these Jordan Phillips type guys that can only hold up against the run, okay, I'll take it for the wins that I'm going to get from the interior.
Right.
You mark my words. Whatever team drafts TJ Sanders 3 years from now will be one of the best pass rushing teams in the league. And I don't care who it is. I don't care what's on the outside because he's going to make guys better.
Okay. All right, at number 5.
I really like the tape on this kid, but he's 83 years old. Darius Alexander. He's really good against the run. He played 6 years at Toledo. He'll be 25 next year. Or he may already be 25 now that I think about it. I don't think there's any growth. Like, you're getting what you get. And I've seen him in the back end of the first round. I'm not wild about that. I like him better in the mid 2, late 2 range. Just solely because it's hard for me to look at a guy that's this old. Yes, he's going to be able to come in and contribute right away, but you're going to have a year where he has to adjust to the level of competition. He was outrageously good at the Senior Bowl, but he is going to have to adjust to the level of competition. He's going to have to adjust to the down in, the down out. He was a really good pass rusher in the MAC, but then when you dig into that, he's not as good of a pass rusher as it looks like he is. So for me, he falls in that 50-ish range. I really like him in San Francisco.
He will turn 25 years old on August the 26th.
It was in my notes. Will be 25 day one next year. So I never know when I say that. Are you already there? I don't make a habit of tracking guys' birthdays. So
right. I just had to look it up for you. Yeah, 25 years old at the end of August. So he will be a fresh 25 years old when the NFL season begins. But Darius Alexander, one of those you say is getting first-round buzz?
It was much more after the Senior Bowl. I saw him a lot in that last 5 to 6 picks of the first round after Mobile. That's kind of waned because I think the scouts got involved and went, this guy's he's good. And I'm not trying to denigrate him as a prospect. I'm really not. But you got to understand, there are guys in this class that play the same position that will hit free agency and still be younger than he is right now. That's hard to get your brain around. And I get it. That's in the second, third round, I'm trying to get 5 to 6 to 8 years out of a guy. I'm okay with that. I don't think you're getting 10 out of him. That's why I can't take him in the first round.
Okay. And then number 6.
This is the one that makes my head hurt. It's Derek Harmon out of Oregon. I get it. Last year with Uiagalelei on the outside of him, he had Jamari Caldwell, he had Jeffrey Bassa back behind him. I saw a really good pass rushing defensive tackle that just so happens to be a giant, very smart guy. Mm-hmm. Here's the problem. The tape from Michigan State did not get set on fire. I still remember who you were 2 years ago. He was an irrelevant pass rusher at Michigan State. He was a good run defender. He was actually better against the run at Michigan State than he was at Oregon. I can't put my thumb on what you are. And I put you in a different situation. And yeah, the Ohio State tape, if you watch that one game, I fully understand how you fell in love with him. The problem is that I can't unsee what I had seen in the past. And I don't know if you're not one of those guys that got propped up because you went to a better situation. And now what happens if you go in the first round, and I'll just give you a team that I keep seeing. He goes to the Buffalo Bills, it's not really a problem. You've got Ed Oliver on the inside. You've got Gregory Rousseau on the outside. Okay. That's fine. My fear is what happens if you go to the Tennessee Titans or the New York Giants. No, that's not a good example. Or I'm trying to think of teams at the very high side. The Carolina Panthers, or I don't think you're that guy. I think you are a late second range pick. You're in that 50 to 64 range. Because I'm projecting so much of you based off 1 year of tape where you were just markedly better than virtually everybody you played. I don't care that he had a great game against Idaho. I don't care that he had a great revenge game against Michigan State. You know what bothers me? When I look at the tape against Purdue, and he went up against Marcus M'Bow and several other, I think, pretty good offensive linemen, he was borderline irrelevant. He was borderline irrelevant against Wisconsin. He was borderline irrelevant against Penn State. If you're just taking the high side, okay. I've been burned by that enough times. And here's the thing that I don't ever hear anybody talk about. He played Ohio State twice, and it was the two best games he played all year. You do realize Donovan Jackson, the guy that he should have been dealing with, was out playing at left tackle. So he was dealing with a backup guard that's not probably going to play in the NFL, and if he does, he's not that player now. That's the guy who you wrecked his soul. When you went up against, and it was 1A versus 1A, you weren't that guy. And you're good. You're not a first-round pick. And I have this weird feeling a team's going to take him. I keep seeing him with Minnesota. I keep seeing him with Buffalo. And those are good situations, and I think he could be a good player there. I would just like it a lot better at the end of 2 than the end of 1.
Mm-hmm. How many bear balls do you think Derek Harmon could put away?
706.
Better question, more relevant question maybe. How many mini blueberry moon pies do you think he could put away?
Less than me. The same answer I have for you.
Less than you. Jeremy's got his eyes set on the champ this weekend. Saturday evening down at Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville, the To Hell with Helene party. Jeremy and I will be there. We will be engaging in the pie eating contest against Jamie the Bear McDonald, who is just going to wreck our souls when it comes to the pie eating contest. There will be axe throwing. There will be comedy. There will be live music from our good friend Lyric. There'll be so many activities. Bull riding. mechanical bull riding there at the Bear Smokehouse Barbecue, the To Hell with Helene event, the lighthearted rage releasing event, where we can all just kind of come together and celebrate the fact that Bears is back on the South Slope in downtown Nashville, and we are trying to move on as best as possible from Hurricane Helene. During the aftermath of the storm, Bear Smokehouse Barbecue was one of those that stepped up to help out the community, hosting World Central Kitchens at their place of business. And to this day, or I guess as of last week, there was an organization that was still feeding 12 to 1,400 people, or meals, I guess I should say. I'm not sure about people, but meals a day out of Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue. And we want to support businesses that do great things for our community. And Bears has proven themselves already to be a wonderful partner to this program, and, of course, a huge supporter and member of the Asheville community. They are the official barbecue of the Sportocracy. You do not want to miss the Bear Balls. You don't want to miss the Moink Ball. Nobody does ball like Bear Smokehouse Barbecue. Downtown Nashville, 135 Cox Avenue. Although if downtown scene's not your thing, they're inside Sweeten Brewing down on Sweeten Creek. The official barbecue of the Sportocracy. We will see you there Saturday on the South Slope for the party.
This is your Oxygen
Now clear.
Their forecast on ESPN Asheville.
I could get some rainfall, certainly anyhow.
Yeah, you dropped out a little bit on that last segment. So.
Be a few clouds at
Reconnect.
70. Cloud will fall back into the upper 30s and a little breezy, so maybe a little brisk. It's the Weather Channel meteorology station.
This report is or full-time jobs. Forget about recruiting, sifting through resumes, and interviews with unqualified applicants. Go to expresspro.com.
Well, hello, friends. You stuck it out there, and I appreciate that. So the unit that connects Tank and I completely shut down when he started warbling. He shut down completely. So we had to finish the end of the show with me on the old telephone, which is really obnoxious. And of course, it came back right as we were done. So there's that. If there are any draft questions that anybody wants me to answer right here, I'll be happy to do that. We disconnected Tank, so there's no risk of this going out on the radio waves. Notorious B.I.G. said, "Look, it's baby Bernie Sanders. I have never noticed that, and now I will never unsee it." He really looks like fat baby Winston Churchill with that jacket with the big buttons as it sits. I'm just getting caught up on the chat now from the things that I missed as we were trying to reconnect. Talk about Tank riding a bull. With his foot, I don't think he's getting on that bull, but there's a great opportunity that I'm going to have enough of those Pisgah Blondes, and I might. Pisgah Blonde's a beer, just to be clear. Winston Tankerous Churchill. Whew, this is the part of the day where I finally get to have lunch, and I'm very excited about it because I've been about to starve to death all day. We're working on a golf outing. If anybody's a golfer that is reasonably proximate to the Asheville area, we're working on a charity golf outing that we should have some more information on in the coming weeks, probably after the draft. Doing it for charity. That was a lot of what took my morning, and part of the reason that we didn't have a backup server on Tanky. So, gotta love being a two-man band. All right, doesn't appear that we have any draft questions, so I'm gonna sign off now, and we'll keep pumping out mock drafts. Today, the Falcons and the Cardinals went out this morning. The Bengals and the Seahawks will go out this evening. Then we'll have, I'm trying to remember the draft order off the top of my head. We'll have the Bucks and the Broncos in the morning. Then we'll have the Steelers and whoever's at 22, which is completely out of my head because I know the Vikings are at 24 and the Packers are at 23. And the Texans are at 25. And those will be the ones on the next day. And then we'll get into, I'll start recording 7-round mock drafts this weekend. So my A+ 7-round mock drafts will start probably filtering out over the weekend. All right. So everybody go watch a mock draft. Thank you for sticking with us. For Winston Tankerous Churchill III, I'm Jeremy Greene, and we'll see you tomorrow.